me introduce you first. How are you, darling?
I'm good. How have you been? It's been a long time, Ted. Lyde,
it has been a difficult two years.
Oh, yeah. What have you been up to?
I've had some health issues. I've had lost a kidney to cancer. They took out a kidney, and so I've been dealing with that. I'm on the list for a new kidney. Hopefully, I'll land a new kidney. That's a challenging thing too, because you have to keep your blood work like pristine. Because they're like, well, if we call you tomorrow, we don't want anything to be wrong with you that we have to deal with in surgery. So you have to like not eat anything that you like.
Oh.
You have to not drink anything that you like.
Oh,
so you gotta be real careful.
Yeah.
But you have been directing some videos, I hear.
Yeah.
Working with Hewett.
Yeah, Shalmar. When COVID started, we all were home, and Howard and I kind of connected because he was home for the first time in his life. He hadn't been working for the first time in his life, and we were all stuck at home. So he and I decided to start working on some projects together. And one of the projects, first of all, was his autobiography. That's how we started, working together.
How he landed with Shalmar
Yep.
and Soul Train and those hits that they had.
Exactly. So we went through his whole life, and because of the book that I wrote, now I'm a published author, so I have experience writing a book. So
you can write about Michael Jackson. I think you can write about anybody in the entertainment field.
Oh, thank you. So it's fun, writing is fun. So that's what we started doing, and then he started playing me some of his music, and there was a lot of music that I hadn't heard of his, and a couple of the songs really stood out to me, and I said, you know what, we should do a music video. And he was skeptical at the time because, of course, I'd never directed a music video.
Right.
And this is Howard Hewett, not just some Joe Schmo. And I wanted it to be good, too. But he trusted me, and I took my iPhone and started shooting. And we got ourselves 2 music videos. One is called That's Christmas, and the other one is To Be I Pray, which is his latest single. And I'm very proud of both of them.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, and I edited it and filmed the whole thing on my iPhone, as I said.
Yeah, a lot of people are shooting iPhones these days.
That, it works.
Feature films have been done on iPhones now.
It can be done. There's no need to have all of that extra cost. And also, when we were in the pandemic, we were on a lockdown, so we couldn't really have a crew. We couldn't have people lighting. We couldn't bring catering in. It was just the 2 of us. So we had to figure it out. And we did, and we figured out that you don't need all that stuff.
Right.
You can do videos for free, and it turns out, just as nice as $1 million videos.
Congratulations! So where can we find the videos?
On YouTube, Howard Hewett has a YouTube channel. You can go there. Both videos, That's Christmas and To Thee I Pray, are there. And To Thee I Pray is his latest single, which you can get on Spotify, Apple, anywhere singles are sold. So, and at this time, with all of the crazy stuff that's happening, To Thee I Pray is like the perfect song. It's like a healing balm almost. And the video, even though we shot it a year ago, it's still relevant today because it deals with all of the unrest and the uprising of people and just the terrible stuff that happened in the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So
it's been terrible through the Trump debacle and then the pandemic debacle, like back to back.
And that's in the video. And the thing that inspired me to do that video was the Man in the Mirror video, actually, because that has a lot of clips of Martin Luther King and things like that.
Right.
And here we are, 40 years later or so, and there's still the same problems. It's just different clips, but it's still the same problems that we have. And I mean,
that's exactly the point I was making when I started the podcast just now, is that I can only lament my heartbreak so many times, and then after a while you're like,
you give up.
It's like being in a bad marriage. You're like, I think I've said everything I have to say. I can't say anything else about why this is killing me.
You said to put it in God's hand, and that's what the video is about. Really, you just have to pray. To Thee I Pray. So really, that's all we have.
Let's talk about this gentleman sitting next to you. Let's introduce him.
I am very excited to have our guest here with me today. It's Mr. Nelson Hayes, who is a legend in the Michael Jackson community. Nelson Hayes has kind of been like a mystery guy because he's kind of like, you know, very modest,
and very low key.
Very low key. He doesn't think he's that big of a deal, but he is.
What is his affiliation with Michael Jackson?
Well, Nelson. Well, you can go ahead and tell us what you are.
Hi, folks. Hello. Yeah, I've been blessed since 1979 to be with Michael and his brothers and his family on different projects. All the tours he did, starting once again in '79, all the way through the first leg of the History Tour in '95. So
'79 was the Destiny Tour?
'79 was the Destiny Tour, and after that rolled into the Triumph Tour.
Oh, my favorite.
Then I was working, they retained me, they kept me on a retainer, working for the family. So I was able to be blessed when Michael was working on Thriller, and then all the other things that happened before he went out on the Victory Tour in '84. Once again, Thriller, the release of Thriller, Michael Mania, Motown 25, et cetera, all of those type of things. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun with that family, and fast forwarding to now, the thing that brings me the most joy from my affiliation, since I know so many members of the family, is how all the children of the brothers who I work for, they are now grown up and they have their own kids. And so the blessings continue for that family. So big Jackson person.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, so when you started with Michael, how did you get the job first of all, working for Michael Jackson and the Jackson family?
Well, Randy called me one day and said, Nelson, we're going to go back out on another tour. This is called the Triumph Tour. Wow. Can you help us out? So after talking to my friends and the radio people, I left the radio and did the Triumph Tour.
Wow.
Once again, after the Triumph Tour, they kept me on retainer because I told them, hey guys, I can't keep jumping back and forth, trying to hustle jobs. And I worked for all 5 of the brothers on a retainer, and that's once again how Thriller, Motown 25, all the things that you've heard, and Mike has written about the car fire, all of those kind of things. Yeah, tell us about that.
Michael Jackson, in his book, Moonwalk, talks about Nelson Hayes. He told this story about recording Billie Jean and the car caught on fire. Tell us about that.
Well, basically it was your typical hot Los Angeles day where, and Mike and his brothers, they all lived out in the San Fernando Valley, which, as we all know, can be 20 degrees warmer than the LA side. Mm-hmm. So we were at Westlake Studio working on Thriller, and came time to go, but I had stepped outside to where the car was. That day, sometimes we'd take my car, sometimes we'd take Mike's car. That day we had taken Mike's car to Rolls, and I just happened to step out on the back where the car was parked, and I looked down and I saw some fluid that was underneath the car. And so I said, what is this? So I went out and I touched it and I said, oh, wait a minute, this isn't oil. I was trying to figure out, what is this? Because it was clear. So when Mike came out to go, he said, let's go, Nelson. I got a lot of things I still got to do. I said, no problem, let's roll, bro. And but I said, something's wrong with this car. It's leaking some kind of fluid. And he said, all right, well, let's check it out, but I got to be quick. So at that time in Hollywood, from Westlake on Beverly Boulevard, we go through Hollywood, jump on the Hollywood freeway to the Ventura to get back to Encino. At that time, there was a Rolls-Royce dealership right at the corner of La Brea and Hollywood. So we pulled in there real quick, and the mechanic said, hey man, you guys are leaking brake fluid. So I said, okay, how long can it take to fix? And the guy said, well, you just rolled in here. It might take at least a couple of hours. Mike freaked out, saying, Nelson, I gotta go, man. So instead of just there was no such thing as Ubers or anything like that. No such thing as cell phone. Yeah. So I said, okay, how long would it take to get a rental? and this was a holiday weekend. I can't remember the day, but it was a holiday coming up. So the guy said, it may take, hour to get a rental car over here. And so Mike said, I can't wait, Nels, we gotta go. I said, all right. And the mechanic said, all right, I'm telling you guys, if that brake fluid rolls back onto the muffler, it can start a fire. Brake fluid is very flammable. So Mike gets in the car, he's got his headphones on, and we had been working on Billie Jean at the studio, and as far as I can remember, that's what he was listening to, whatever he had been working on. So he just bopping away, and we're driving on the freeway, and as we know, it's hot in Hollywood, it's even hotter in the San Fernando Valley. So we're flying down the Ventura Freeway to get off at White Oak, because at that time they were renovating the Havenhurst house, and he was staying in some condos where Jackie lived on Lindley. So that's where we were headed. So to get there, we got off at White Oak. Anyway, we're coming down the exit to get off at White Oak, and it's a red light. So we come up and have to wait instead of just going through. And while we're waiting for the light to turn, all of a sudden I noticed this kid on a bike to my left waving at me. And so I hit the window down. The kid says, your car's on fire. And at the same time, then I could see white smoke coming up, billowing up, right? At the same time, the light changes green. I shoot across the street and park underneath the freeway. And we both jump out, and I hit the hood release. The bonnet comes up and all this smoke billows out. Mike freaks out, I freak out. I look behind me, and there's 2 service stations behind me. I run down to the service station, and I ask the guy, hey, I got a car fire. You guys got a fire extinguisher? And the guy said, yeah, here, take this. So I run back with the fire extinguisher. Meanwhile, Mike is sitting underneath a tree in the shade, because it's at least triple digit degrees, and he's just bopping away, with his headphones
listening
on.
to Billie Jean.
But he sees me come back up with the fire extinguisher, and I go to pull the pin and hit it, but the fire extinguisher had expired.
Oh, no.
And so just this little, this white powder comes out instead of, exactly. And so Mike dies laughing, and he said, now forget about it, So I went back to the gasoline station and called up Jackie. Jackie came down, picked up his bebop brother. I waited for the tow truck to have the car towed to a Rolls dealership service in the valley.
Was the car salvageable?
Yeah, they fixed it. I think it burned up all the rubber in the engine, etc. So it was, Mike couldn't care less about his car. He just
get another car.
Yeah, he needed to do what he had to do. So anyway.
Well, I think that was a sign that Billie Jean was going to be hot.
I know that's right. 'Cause it certainly was.
And so then you had something to do with his Motown 25 performance. Speaking of Billie Jean.
Yeah, speaking of Billie Jean. And
entrenched in Billie Jean.
Yeah, so what happened on that scenario on the Motown 25, we get down there. First of all, on the way there, I was just thinking it's going to be another day, another adventure, but none of us knew how much impact history was about to be made. So anyway, we do a rehearsal, and
You're back and loud so we can hear it. The piano. The way you just did it was perfect, but please remember.
Okay, that's my question was, we did it right this last time, correct?
Correct.
So, and if you watch that Motown 25 video, you see what's going on. The brothers do the bit with all the brothers, and then Michael he moves over the stage right, and the spotlight is on him, and while the spotlight is on him and he's talking, his brothers exit the stage. 2 stagehands come out to remove 4 microphones each, and I'm supposed to come out with the hat. Earlier, Mike had told me, Nelson, I'm going to do Billie Jean, but I need this hat in a specific place so I can turn around, pick it up, put it on my head without adjusting the hat or anything. No problem, Mike. But then we rehearsed it 7 times, and the crew members, the stagehands, were saying, why does he keep doing it? But they didn't know that Michael was a perfectionist. And so he had to have it just right where he could turn around, as you can see in the video, turn around, pick the hat up, put it on his head, and go into Billie Jean.
Yeah.
And so we broke for lunch. We come back from lunch, and the stage manager says, this ain't gonna happen because this guy Nelson, who Mike wants to bring out the hat, he's not part of the stagehand union. So Mike freaked out when he heard that. Said, it's gotta be Nelson. We don't have time to rehearse it with a stagehand, because I don't think he trusted the stagehand, and we had already rehearsed it. Well, anyway, obviously they worked that problem out. Suzanne DePass and all the powers that be, they worked it out. And so I had the hat. But if you look at the video, you first see when Mike starts talking to the audience, he makes a first glance to his left, but I haven't come out with the hat yet. So you can see him kind of like freak out, rub his chin, turn around, not even talking to the audience anymore. It's how a superstar thinks, okay, what's my plan B? The hat ain't there. What am I going to do? And this is really important. But then when he turns back around again, by that time I had come out with the hat, put the hat where it was supposed to be, and the rest is history.
The new songs.
So that's my little story with that.
The thing about that particular performance, in my mind, is that I've been a Michael Jackson fan, my whole life.
His son is named Jackson.
My son's name is Jackson.
His dog was named Michael
I have a
Jackson.
dog named Michael Jackson. Undisputed fan. And I think what that performance marks in my mind is that every incarnation of Michael Jackson prior to Billie Jean, to that performance, was done. It was like the birth of a new Michael Jackson.
Right.
It was
I totally agree with you. That's what I meant when I said I went there on thinking that I was on cruise control, another day, another adventure, but little did anybody know. I mean, because he didn't, when we were in rehearsals, he just put the hat on. Yeah, it's got to be there, Nelson, so I can do this, right? Yeah. But he never danced. So, and I mean, Billie Jean had come out a couple of months earlier than Motown 25, so it was the hot song, but none of us knew the history that Mike was about to do.
Right.
Yeah, he was a legend, and as we all know, all of us, there's records that he has set that still haven't been broken. So God bless the Jackson family, God bless Michael, and I'm glad that God blessed me to be a little small part of everything that, well, not everything, but a lot of
Triumph was my favorite tour of all times, because you and I met on the Dangerous tour. Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute, because you also worked on pretty much the second best tour next to Triumph, Bad World Tour. I mean, that was an amazing tour. Nelson was back working on that in every city across the world. What was that like? Was that your favorite tour too? Which was your favorite tour?
Musically, I have to admit, Triumph musically was still my favorite tour, because if you ever see it, and we're just praying one day the estate will release, or somebody will release that tour, because the Triumph tour with those horns, those East Coast horns, I'm a big horn person, and they were just
You both are from Ohio, I think.
Yeah. I'm from Akron.
Oh, so you and Howard. No, I'm from Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, okay.
I'm surrounded by Ohio. Howard's from Akron.
Yeah,
you're from Cincinnati.
I went to Wright State University, which is down there in Fairborn, Dayton.
Yeah, when I was in the service, guess where I was stationed?
Right, Pat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Smaller world than we think.
And then Kevin Dorsey, who was background singer from Akron, Ohio too. Yeah.
But getting back to what you were asking me, Triumph was musically still my favorite, but the mind-blowing tour was obviously the Bad Tour, because it was Mike's first tour. I like to call everybody baddies. That's my baddies. Everybody was involved with that, and it was like close to 200 people running around the world as a baddie, and Michael Mania, and we just couldn't do anything that wasn't correct. I mean,
what was he like? Was he difficult? Because the public saw Michael as, and I worked with him in management, so I saw a different side. But before that, I was just a fan, and I thought, oh, Michael's just so sweet. It'd be so easy to work with someone that sweet.
What did he do that would make you so mad?
Yeah, like what would surprise us?
Rehearse putting the hat on one place 7 times. I went, Mike, I got it, man. I mean, But then for a minute, I didn't have it. That's why when he first looked and the hat wasn't there, he like freaked out.
Oh,
but thank God it all worked out and it was history. But the answer to the main big question, I was kind of, they kind of like adopted me. I mean, it was, going to the house, going to everybody's homes. I just have a special love in my heart for that family and always will. And like I said, now the big thing that sometimes I want to cry when I see their children grown with the children they have, TJ, Todd, I mean, Tito's boys, everybody's kids, Reeves, everybody, they just to see all this continuation, and they're such hip kids. That's what blows me away. They're just hip kids.
And the whole family's so nice, too.
Yeah, and,
that's so rare.
Exactly. So I think, the way that they came up back in the day is still relevant today. They're just good people. They're just really good people.
So you're not going to give us any dirt on Michael's other side?
I have no dirt that I know of. With
so he was
me
easy to work with, other than being a perfectionist?
He was easy with me to work with.
Did the brothers get along, or did they quarrel a bit, or did they get along?
They got along as far as being professional on stage. Now, obviously, when the day was over, everybody went their separate ways back to, and there's times that are documented that they had disagreements,
like the Victory Tour, right?
Yeah, disagreements on certain tours. But
what was the Victory Tour disagreement?
I was, where do you want to start? Started off with the way the ticket sales were structured, etc. This lottery to get it in. But Mike put a stop to that. Just a lot of different.
Don King was involved.
I have no comment about any of that.
People trying to cut in on the money and do weird stuff with the ticket sales.
Well, remember you had to buy a minimum of 4 tickets or something.
Yeah, and it was a lottery. You had to clip a coupon from your local city's newspaper and mail it in. Just to see if you could get the tickets. And crazy. It was, the fans started going berserk, and so when Michael found out, he immediately stopped that, and they went to a different system. The poor promoter Chuck Sullivan, he had put he was the owner of the Patriots at the time. Yeah. He put his stadium and his team up for backing behind that, and he lost it all. It was, but anyway, me personally, no, I was cool in the gang,
Yeah, well, you were always chill anyway. So that was the bad, so you have a lot of footage from the Bad Tour, I hear, that no one has ever seen before.
Yeah, that's my next project. I want to start putting out edited versions on YouTube or something, because I have, from rehearsals to the end of the tour, I have the entire Bad Tour on tape.
Hi, Michael. I'm Cheryl, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Can you say your whole name?
Cheryl Crow. I just moved out here about 7 months ago, and I'm doing session work. I've been doing commercials, and I sing, I dance, and got experience right now. So, good luck with your tour, and it's just really fun.
I want to start editing this out and putting it out just to let people see how I was back in the 80s on a major tour, and a major tour with the biggest artist in the world at that time, starting off on his career. And so that's what I want to do next. So
Right, well, I'm going to help
see.
you with that because I think the fans are going to just love to see this footage. You showed me a little bit of it, and it was the night that I met Michael in New York. He had performed at Madison Square Garden. Nelson has footage from that concert, which is just shocking. Like, I saw Janet, and I was like, oh my God, that's what Janet was wearing. I remember that. And Renee, it's great. So I can't wait to get into that with you.
Yeah, I can't either. It'll be fun because, but like I said, that tour lasted, from the fall of '87 until the spring of '89. That's how long it basically was when you count everything.
It seems like there'd be a lot of opportunity for fatigue and just to become exhausted.
Traveling all that time.
Well, no, because the bad tour was actually better. Well, the victory tour was the same too. Michael could lose up to 15 pounds in perspiration every show he did. He was such the ultimate performer. And so we normally only did, say in a week, we'd only do like a weekend, 2 to 3 shows a week, which made it nice, especially when we went to Europe, because I had never went to Europe, and we'd have 3 days on, 4 days off.
Okay.
And so since I wasn't part of production, I was with the artists and the band, etc. I did a lot of sightseeing, and Michael had told me before we even left, he said, Nelson, you never been to Europe? I said, no, man. He said, you're going to love it. Make sure you get you a camera. And I took his word, and that's how I ended up taping. Anytime I could tape something, I taped it.
This footage I know is just priceless. And actually, you helped me out because we met. So the next tour after the bad tour was Dangerous. And I started working with Michael in 1991 for his managers, Sandy Gallen and Jim Morey. And the production office for the Dangerous Tour was at our office at Gallen Morey on 8730 Sunset Boulevard. And so Nelson walks in the door one day and he's like, where's my office? So we set up an office for Nelson and I think Paul Gongaware and Benny Collins.
Benny Collins,
yeah.
God rest his soul.
And Caprice Ariola.
Yeah.
And so they were in our office every day putting together the Dangerous Tour. And Michael would call and talk to them. And I remember I had the pleasure to go to Tokyo to the 8 sold out shows, that run. And I think you gave me a video camera or something, but you were like, Shana, you should record your experience. Here's a video camera. I'm going to show you how to work it. I found that footage from where you were showing me how to work
posted it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took a video camera to the Dangerous Tour, and it was thanks to you. That's the only reason I have that footage is because of Nelson Hayes. So thank you, Nelson. And here's that footage. Nelson teaching me how to use his video camera so that I could use it on the Dangerous Tour that we were about to leave for. This was 1992, Gallen Morey Associates, where we managed Michael. Those silver doors were the elevator doors that Michael always walked out of, and I'd be sitting right there to greet him with a big smile because I was always happy to see Michael. And then he'd walk up this hallway and chat with me at my desk on his way out. But here we have Nelson.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, I have a close-up.
Yeah, right. And then when you get over there, I'll show you some other. Just push the button. I'll also show you the other little thing you need to do too. Hi, Mom. What you also need to do, also holding it wrong. Stop it for a minute. Just hit.
Yeah,
And
now
it's
you have a
very
little
important.
book that goes with it from the info sheets.
Right. And Nelson gave me a great gift a few years ago that had all of the, because every day when you wake up and when you're on tour, this is what I learned about touring with Michael Jackson and probably with other artists of his caliber, you'd wake up and in the morning there would be a piece of paper under your door and it would have the day's schedule on there, and that's what Nelson would put together, and he made sure everyone knew exactly what was happening every day, what the weather was going to be, where the hot places to eat were, all that kind of stuff that you don't think you need to know, but you do need to know that because you're in a different country. So that was one of the nice little touches that Nelson did, and he was just great. We hung out a lot in Japan. So that was a great. One thing I wanted to ask you about the Dangerous tour, and maybe the other tours too, but there's a part in where he's doing Beat It, and he's up on the riser or whatever it is, and he goes out into the audience, and he hangs over the side.
Gave us heart attacks every night, but
So did
Michael's
he
so
have-
athletic, he pulled it off.
He didn't have like a something harness.
Yeah, a harness or a safety belt
Yeah.
behind. No, he was able to, go out and first time he did it, we like freaked out. And then I remember, speaking of Japan, on one of the shows where he actually, because the Japanese fans are so reserved, that they're not anymore, I don't think. But at that time, they patiently would watch the show, check everything out at the end of a number, politely clap, but now to overcome all of that, Michael was used to people hollering and screaming. So he actually ran off of the stage, ran up. There's footage on some YouTube channel, I've seen it. There's footage where he actually ran through the crowd and climbed up the netting of the baseball stadium that we were playing at, which totally blew away security. Bill Bray had 3 heart attacks and all of the security, but he was able to pull it off because he knew the fans were so respectful that they wouldn't clobber him, and plummet him to the ground. He was able to pull it off. A lot of fun stuff.
It's weird how fans can be to the person that they adore. They could just be like, now
Tear you
I
apart.
must possess you now.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, no. Yeah. Listen, we're running out of time, guys. I'm sorry that we have to wrap this up. Would you come back and we can talk some more?
Part 2.
Is the elephant heavy? Of course. Especially now that I know Ohio, another Buckeye.
Ever since you said the horns, Lovely One has been playing in my head. The horns on Lovely One are just bananas.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you catch that video, there's a video out. The quality isn't that good, but you'll see what I mean. From the moment they come on stage until it's over, it's just non-stop Jackson energy. It's just amazing. Then those horns, it's just they were, and they're good people.
The sad things about music today is that so few musicians have an orchestra, or it's all computer and digital, and
Different age now.
Yeah, there's something about a live band.
It makes a difference, a big difference.
It's all the whole world is the difference to me. All right, listen, we gotta wrap this up, kids. Is there something that you want people to look for on your channel, on your YouTube?
Not really, just the videos that I just directed, Howard Hewett, That's Christmas, and To Thee I Pray, which is on Howard Hewitt's YouTube channel. So look for it there. I'm a music video director. I'm very proud of that. So please support that.
Mr. Hayes, you will return.
Yes, sir.
And when we have more time, and you can try to think of more dirt.
Yeah.
Tell me some secrets about your Maine. Everybody, thanks for watching.
All right, God bless everybody. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed up.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Try to be good.
Bye-bye.